We have 6 major themes this year, grouped into, I think, probably the most important one to this audience, issues about retail, seniors, and persons saving for retirement. Perennial concern of OCIE, it very well aligns with the chairman and the commission's continuing sort of public statements about concern about retail investors. You've heard of Commissioner Jackson talking about retirement savings. Consistent messaging from the commission for years, and particularly OCIE on this front, and obviously our colleagues in enforcement. The other area is sort of systemically important market issues, less likely to touch you. Cybersecurity, an area that we have been in for many years and will continue to be in, I think, for the foreseeable future. FINRA and the MSRB, they are regulators that we also oversee. And AML, and new this year was a priority on digital assets. Sort of what's new, I think, for this crowd, and a lot of it is not new, but I encourage you to go back and look. Our focus on fees and expenses is going to continue. But new focus areas that I think we're going to launch national initiatives, and some of them probably have already been launched, are conflicts of interest, and specifically with respect to loans you may be taking from your clients. If you find yourself in the position of taking a loan from a client or suggesting a loan from a client, we are really going to kick the tires and looking at your financial condition and why you find yourself in that position. It is a significant conflict. We've seen lots of issues. We see lots of failures of disclosure of your financial condition to your clients if you find yourself in that situation. We are also looking at special purpose loans, security-backed special purpose loans, and these are essentially lines of credit and loans that clients are obtaining using as collateral their securities portfolio. We find conflicts are not adequately addressed in this space. Concerns about when positions may have to be sold if the value of them drop because the collateral will fall. Conflicts of interest regarding compensation Salesforce receives on these products as well. And the third area, affiliated service providers, is a specific conflict of interest we're looking at. And this can run the gamut. Obviously, there's been a lot of activity in the private equity space over the last several years, enforcement and OCIE, but it's not just in the private fund space. We see affiliated service providers in soft dollars, at just sort of institutional managers that are not in private funds. And our focus will be essentially looking for service providers when you're not disclosing the conflict to clients, or you're trying to somehow shift expenses that essentially are the advisor's expenses to a service provider that the client will end up paying. And we'll be looking at those arrangements closely and looking at whether you've disclosed adequately the conflicts so your clients are aware and have consented to those conflicts of interest. The other area that is relative or is new this year, but not new to any of you, I hope, is portfolio management and trading. This is focus on best X, focus on style drift, and allocation. And these are sort of bread and butter compliance issues that I'm sure all of you are well versed in, but we are coming back to those areas because of some problems we found in the past years, and we think it's worth focusing some time. I really want to tout, in sort of the lowercase tout, our achievements last year. It was a record year for OCIE with respect to your industry. We got to approximately 17% of registered advisors, which is, I don't know, what is it? 20 or 30% increase from the year before. We did over 3,000 exams, which wasn't a first, but is territory we haven't been in a long time. And so as sort of senior level management in OCIE, we are incredibly proud of the work of the staff in the regions and the exam staff. And that does take cooperation from the industry as well. And I will make a pitch that we are hopeful that you will cooperate with your exam teams. It is to your benefit and very much to our benefit that we can get in and get out and move on. And it's not just very much benefit to your individual firm that we get out of your hair quickly, but it is a benefit, I believe, collectively to your industry that we get to a greater percentage of your industry on an annual basis. So without specifics as to this year, we are very proud of our results last year. This year